Hello and welcome to the Tiny Human Knits podcast, my podcast all about knitting, sewing, crochet, cross stitch, and all manner of crafty goodness. My name is Laura and I'm coming to you now from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, where I have relocated. I've been here for about a little over 2 weeks now. It feels like I've been here a while, but I'm all settled in and I've been working pretty steadily over the last 2 weeks that I've been here. Currently, it is snowing pretty heavily. We've probably got about, I want to say about 6 inches of snow so far. It's coming down really heavy. We've been getting snow periodically for the last 2 weeks, but this is probably the heaviest it's been. No, it's not probably. It's definitely the heaviest it's been. I'm having a really strong urge to decorate for Christmas because to me, snowfall like this means Christmas time. But alas, it's barely October, so I think Halloween should have its day before Christmas time takes over. Anyway, that's a tangent. You can find me online as Tiny Human Knits everywhere on Instagram, Ravelry, and YouTube, obviously. And you can find my Etsy shop under the same name as well. I will put links for everything down below in the description box. And there's also a Ravelry group for the podcast under the Tiny Human Knits podcast in the groups tab, which I will also link down below. I'm hosting 2 knit-alongs at the moment. The first is the Knit from Stashalong, which started on January 4th and is going until January 4th of next year. So it's a year-long knit-along, and it's pretty much knit anything from your stash using stash that was purchased before January 3rd of this year. And that has many finished objects already, and I'm super happy about that. It's so nice to see people using up their stash. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if you're doing knitting, crochet, or I would even accept weaving because that's still using your stash, and there are many finished objects. So the second knit-along that I'm hosting in my Ravelry group, there's also a different sort of platform on Instagram, and that is the Not Rhinebeck Sweater Cal. And that is to sort of run alongside what people normally do with the Rhinebeck sweater. And that is for the Not Rhinebeck 2018 online yarn festival that's happening at the same time as Rhinebeck. So that I have information for all of the makers that are being involved in that online yarn event. There is a link for that in the down bar as well. That's on my Ravelry page, so it has all the information for the makers, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I've been prepping for that pretty hard. I'm going to be having a fairly decent size update for that event, and I will be having a lot of new colorways, a lot of new self-striping colorways, which I will show you later on in the episode as a preview. And then I'll also have a lot of just specialty items that you can only get, or some specialty items that you'll only be able to get during the festival. But more about that later. So you can find all the information for that knit-along. It's essentially knitting yourself a sweater. It has to be made by you for the festival. And the knit-along ends, I believe, at the end of October. So you have until a little past the event to actually finish your sweater. I have been failing hard on knitting anything for this event. I didn't even necessarily pick a specific thing for the knit-along. I have been so busy. I'm a terrible boss for myself. I apparently don't allow my workers, myself, to have any time off. So I've been having a very little knitting time. But I think anyone who's their own boss understands that. So yeah. But moving on into the knitting proper, I don't recall if I have any finished objects. I don't think I do. Again, I haven't been knitting very much. It's been very busy. I moved here from High Level, which is an 11-hour drive away. And when we first got here, I know this is a bit of a tangent, but when we first got here, we had already moved most of my stuff into a house in another part of the city, and the landlady there obviously doesn't know anything about how to be a landlady, and there was so much trouble with that. And so we had to find a new place the day before I got here with the rest of my stuff, which was incredibly stressful. But my cousin who I moved in with did a great job of finding a place. It was essentially, if we didn't find a place, I would just move in with my mom, which is what would have happened. But we did find a place, and it's all good, and we moved into a place that's much better for the needs that we both have. This place has a lot more space, and this is the first time I've ever been able to do my sewing and my yarn dyeing in the same area, which is amazing. It means that I don't have to run around up the stairs like I did in my house in High Level, and so it just means that I'm a little bit more efficient than I was before, which I really enjoy. But yes, that's just a long way of saying I haven't got a lot of knitting done. But I will show you what I've been working on. The two projects that I have that I was working on before are, first of all, my Mossbank sweater, which is a pattern. It's a Brooklyn tweed pattern. And, oops, apparently I've got a lot of stuff in here. And again, I'm a bad podcaster. I don't think it says who the designer is on this pattern. Just as bad as last time. But I have gotten a little bit of work done on that, and that's just a it's basic pullover knit in pieces. You could, if you wanted to, and it would eliminate a lot of the purling rows, you could join in the round. It's reverse stockinette on the outside, so all you'd need to do is make sure that you were knitting it inside out. But I rather enjoy seaming my garments. I really like it. I like the structure of it, so I decided just to knit it as the pattern instructed. So I have the front panel, and I'm knitting this out of Patton's Classic Wool, and that is the dark gray marl colorway. And then the contrast, I'm just using a cream color. It has the bottom hem, and the bottom hem is just a 1x1 rib, and then the pattern technically calls for the color join where the different color purl bumps would show to be on the outside, which I just did the first row as a knit row instead of a purl row there, and then I just continued to knit in the same fashion as it would be before. But yeah, so I've done the front panel, which I had to knit twice because I almost knit the entire thing, and then I realized as I was doing decreases that I had 20 extra stitches because apparently I was mildly dyslexic when I was reading the pattern, and it said to cast on 102 stitches, I believe, and I just cast on 120 because that's useful. And then I've also finished the back, and it's just, you know, a basic panel. For these, I've been meaning to weave in the ends and block them and then sew them together, and then I can get the collar done, and then I just have the sleeves to finish. But I've been busy, and it's just been sitting on the floor beside me as I do other stuff. But I'm on the first sleeve at the moment, and this is as far as I've done. I'm almost done the increases. I just have one more, and I'm pretty much 2 rows away from that. But the thing I like about this is that I don't know why exactly this has happened right now, but I've become obsessed with charms, progress keepers. So they're marking every single one of my increases. And the sleeves are technically written flat, but I didn't want to seam up the sleeve. I don't mind sewing it into the sleeve cap, but I don't mind sewing sleeves on, but I didn't want to sew sleeve together. So, but on here I have a wonderful collection of charms. So I've got this rainbow here, and then this bumblebee, and then this llama are all from Michaels. They have new, in their charm sections where they sell jewelry making supplies, they have where you can just buy these with the lobster clasp already. So they're supposed to be for charm bracelets or something like that. I don't know, but I've been buying so many of them because I think they're adorable. And then I also have, I hope I'm pointing this in the right direction, this unicorn, bird on a branch, and then a little camping trailer are all from Mama Bear Knits on Etsy. And I think they're super cute. I have quite a few for stitch markers and progress keepers. And I have a lot more coming to me because, again, I don't know why. I've just been obsessed with them. So, But as far as this goes, I cast on both cuffs at the same time because I always find they're the worst part. So I already have the cuff for the second sleeve ready to go so that when I am done the first sleeve, I can just immediately go into the increases for that one instead of having to actually cast on. So I'm hoping to be done this soon. I'm kind of really copping out and thinking about calling this one my Rhinebeck sweater because I don't have any other sweaters that I've started yet. So that might be my cop out. I can probably finish it before Rhinebeck. So that one is the Mossbank Sweater. The next one that I had before was a pair of socks for a gentleman that I worked with over the summer, and that is out of my Nearly Nautical self-striping colorway, and that's this here. It's a 2-striper, and he has absolutely gigantic feet, as I've said before, so I'm making, I believe it's a 78 stitch sock, which totally calculates for the amount of negative ease I want his sock to have, which is ridiculous to me because I usually do a 56 stitch sock for myself. But anyway, so because he has such large feet, I'm going to be doing Afterthought, I'm doing Afterthought everything socks. So I'm going to be cutting in for the heels, and also I'll be, I'm essentially knitting a long tube from toe to toe, and I'll be cutting it in half and then putting in the cuff after. So this has become a comically long sock. It looks like I'm making a terrible error or making thigh highs for myself, but I've knit most of the ball. And so this is really amusing to knit in public because it does look ridiculous. So far, this is how long each sock would be. But the thing is, I'll have to cut in a heel like probably here or even higher. I have to measure or check my measurements that I took again. And like that's not even that long of a sock. So I'm hoping that they're going to be a decent length when I'm finished. I'll be making a contrast mini skein to use for the heels and cuffs, but it's pretty massive. This is what I've been working on. When I was moving, I was in Edmonton for a couple days, so I was just working on this to pass the time, and I really like it though. This colorway is really great. I have one skein left of this colorway in the shop at the moment, and if anyone would like some more, I can absolutely make that up. And I currently have also from Michaels a pizza charm on here. And then on the other side, I've got a piñata. So if anyone's looking for some inexpensive progress keepers, Michaels has them. And that doesn't even have a bag anymore because I don't know why. I just took it out because it was too long. Now I keep the ball in a box so it doesn't run away. Okay, I have 2 new cast-ons since last time. One is a test knit and one is kind of a sample knit and kind of, I just needed something I wanted a specific project to start for my trip to Knit City, which I went to on Saturday, so 2 days ago. 3 days ago? What day is it today? Tuesday? Yeah, 3 days ago. So I decided to cast on a pair of socks with a brand new colorway that I made, and it is my Halloween colorway. It is called Mr. Awesome. And I wanted it on sparkle because I just wanted to knit something sparkly for this trip. And here it is. So it's a 4-striper with a gray, a almost black, a neon green, and a bright orange. And the reason it's called Mr. Awesome is because I used to work with a lady at Michaels years ago who was absolutely obsessed with Halloween. She does a Halloween countdown as soon as Halloween's over, like I would do for Christmas. And she has a Facebook page with the name Mr. Awesome because she has a skeleton family that she posts photos and sort of interactions with on her Facebook, and her main skeleton is called Mr. Awesome. So I thought it was an appropriate name for this colorway, and I adore it. So I'm also keeping that in a bag that I made the other day. I have a couple more of these Halloween bags in the shop as well, and that's just my sock sack in this adorable fabric. It's got an orange and polka dot lining, and all the bags are different slightly, print-wise. And I'm almost done the first sock. So I cast this on the plane on our way to Vancouver on Saturday morning. So my cousin and I only went for the day. We left here at 7:30 our time, and then we left Vancouver at 10 o'clock BC time. So we were only there for the day. It was a very busy day. So I cast it on the plane, and I just knit all throughout the day. I took it with me everywhere, and I bound off on the plane back. So I haven't marked exactly where I need to put my heel in, but I just have a stitch marker here that's actually bought in Vancouver, but it wasn't at the at Knit City. It was actually, there was an event going on right by the train station. It was an Etsy event. So a bunch of people from who had their own Etsy stores in Vancouver were having a get together, and they were showing their wares, and there was a lot of really cool stuff. There was a lot of really great enamel pins. I wanted to buy some, but I had the same problem there as I did in Knit City, where if it's a lot of trouble for me to get to purchase, I will just not purchase it. So if it's really busy, I just won't buy anything, because I hate being jostled in that sort of situation, or having to push towards something, or even just like too many people around me, and I just don't want to buy anything. But this one sort of booth, I guess, had a bunch of just clay designs. So when you make a clay log with the picture on the inside. But anyway, I got this one progress keeper, and it's this little cat face, and that's all just clay all wrapped up together, which I find amazing. But yeah, my cousin actually bought that for me because I didn't have any change on me. It was only $3, so she bought it for me. But anyway, I just knit this throughout the day, and I really, really, really like it. I want to cast on the second right away because it's an easier project to take. My other pair of socks that I'm making is a bit too long, so it's a bit just ridiculous to take with me, and these are just really easy to grab and go. But I'll be cutting in the heel for that soon. I want to put a black heel, I think, because I think that would look the nicest. Let's not forget my needles. And the last thing I'm working on is actually a test knit for Meg from Bad Wolf Girl podcast and Bad Wolf Girl Studios. I guess Bad Wolf Girl sits in Knits podcast. And she designed a top called the Sea Glass top. It's a tank top style thing. It's a racerback, I believe is what it is. And I started this when I was in Edmonton, and I didn't have any of my stash on me because it had all been moved here or was packed up. So I went to River City, and I got myself some Madeline Tosh, which I have never used before. So this is my first time using Madeline Tosh. And this is their fingering weight base. I genuinely don't know if I have any of the tags, because this whole time has been a kerfuffle. But anyway, this is the color. I want to say Matcha. Oh, bless me. Thank you. Sorry. I want to say Matcha. I'm going to have to check my Instagram because I did take a picture of it, but I'm pretty sure it's Matcha. But it is a steely blue-gray with slight, I almost want to say green. It's hard to say, but with the copper speckles in there, it's gorgeous. And I started this, and I haven't been able to work on it very much because, again, busy. But I have cast it on, and I'm past the top. Oh my goodness, let me see if I can. Okay, it's on really small needle, so it's going to look super tiny. But it's got little straps here. Again, it's going to look super tiny because it's on small needles. So I find it's really similar to the way Joji Locatelli likes to design her tops, where it's knit, or also, oh, I can't remember the girl who designed the Chuck sweater. Anyway, where you do sort of all the shaping. It's a top-down, I'm not explaining myself very well. But anyway, so you start with the top and you just finish that and then you join in the round after the armholes. So I've already done that. I've joined in the round and I'm now to the point where I'm just knitting in circles. And I'm really enjoying it. I am excited for it to be done. I hope to finish it soon. I'm gonna need to give myself a little bit more time off for knitting. But I am going to Edmonton again next week, and I'll be there for most of the week, so I can't bring any of my work stuff with me, so I should be able to do a fair bit of work on this and hopefully get it finished. But she will be releasing that at some point. It's being tested right now by myself and quite a few other people. So I'm really excited for this. It's it's kind of not really weather appropriate at the moment just because we are going to get like a foot of snow today, but that's okay because when I'm working and I get really warm, it's nice to have something to wear, and I don't have a lot of clothes because I don't like clothes shopping. Unless it's a thrift store, because that's perfectly fine by me. And this colorway actually works pretty well into acquisitions because that is one of my acquisitions that I had. And oh, another acquisition is actually I'm holding this project in my brand new Llama bag from Knit Picks because I finally gave in and ordered it because I've wanted this bag for so long because it's so cute. So it's a Llama bag, and Knit Picks has it always, and I love it because it's got llamas on it. But other acquisitions that I got while I was not podcasting forever, sorry about that by the way. First off, when I was in Edmonton last, I went to both yarn stores that are in Edmonton, or two of the three. So I went to River City, but I also got to go to, oh goodness, what is it called? No, I'm not going to be able to remember. The other yarn, I'll put the name up here, I can't remember what it's called right now. But I hadn't been there before. It's a bit difficult to get to be perfectly honest, but we got there in the end, and I didn't know what to buy because I know that I have so much stash, and I've got so much stuff that I'm never going to get around to using because I have too much. So I have a really hard time buying yarn lately, so I saw that they had some Baa Ram Ewe, Pip Colorwork is what it's called. So there it is. And I thought these would be amazing because I'd never seen it in a store before, and I really wanted to get something I couldn't get in other places that I'd seen. And it's going to be the perfect mitten yarn. So I got 4 little balls of it. Got this beautiful burgundy, this sort of tarnished gold, and then 2 whites. So I'm going to make 2 pairs of mittens with these. And I don't have any mittens that I've made myself. I've made many pairs of mittens in my knitting past, but I've never made any for myself. But these I have bought so much mitten weight yarn in the last little while because I don't know why. I have a lot of mitten weight yarn. So I'm gonna have to start making some, I think. But these are amazing. And I posted on Instagram that someone needed to keep me accountable and make sure that I made mittens for myself. And then a very kind Instagram follower purchased on Ravelry one of Ellie of Skeinier Knits mitten patterns. I can't remember what it's called, but it's the one that was published in a Norwegian magazine. And it's beautiful, and I meant to cast on right away, but then life happens. But I am so grateful for that. I love knitting patterns. If anyone is curious, you can check out my Ravelry library. All of the patterns that I have in my library are purchased patterns, and I have hundreds of patterns. I will buy a pattern. If I think I even might just kind of want to make it, I will buy it because I love having knitting patterns. It's my main weakness. It's even worse than yarn. I can talk myself out of buying yarn, but I can't talk myself out of buying a pattern. But that was from when I was in Edmonton, and my Knit City haul is very, very tiny, again, because it was so busy and I know that I have lots of yarn. So I had a really hard time buying anything, but I did get a couple really good things. So I saw these were the first thing I bought because I haven't seen them anywhere and I really needed some, especially with all the mitten yarn that I have right now. So I purchased myself some mitten blockers, and these are the ones with the removable thumb. And this is a small size because I've got small hands. It's gonna be great. And I think they are absolutely gorgeous. They're laser cut. They still smell woody and lasered. So, but yeah, I bought these. They were pretty inexpensive. I think they were only $28, so I thought that was an amazing purchase, and I know I'm going to use them a lot. My cousin who came with me also needs some mittens, especially because it's so snowy, and she has to transit to school, so she wants mittens. So we checked, and both of our hands fit into this size. So that was the first thing that I bought, and technically I only purchased from 2 places. So that was the first one, and then I couldn't see anything that was really grabbing my attention enough to make me, because to be perfectly honest right now, I can't afford anything. Sort of moving is always more expensive than you think it's going to be, and everything else. But I saw some Jamieson and Smith yarn, and I told myself I didn't need any more sweater quantities, but alas, I can't help myself. And I had just bought myself a new like gray woolen skirt, and I needed something to go specifically with it, so I bought myself some Jamieson and Smith, and I got it in, oh, there's no colorways on here. Well, this is shade 202, and this is shade FC38 mix. So this one is sort of a coppery with bits of yellow and green, and then this is just like a cream sort of beige color. So I got 13 skeins of this one, they're 25-gram skeins, and then 3 of this one. So I want to make myself a cropped, mostly fitted colorwork sweater. That was my plan. I bought the Strange Brew pattern from Knit Picks, not the book, but the individual pattern that helps you design colorwork jumpers for yourself, for the size and stitch count and all that you need. But I also bought a pattern by Marie Wallen. It's an all-over colorwork pattern. I might be able to adjust it. I can't remember. I'll put up a picture here, but I'm thinking of maybe just modifying it for what I want it to be, so slightly cropped, and start the colorwork patterns in a different spot. So we'll see how that goes. I just need to decide. I really like the idea of the Marie Wallen one because I know in the past I've had trouble with colorwork yokes fitting, but I think if I use the Strange Brew, I'll be able to, like if I'm designing it myself, I'll be able to adjust for the width of my shoulders, because apparently my shoulders are too wide for the rest of me, so things don't really fit properly. I've said it before because I have wider shoulders than my bust size seems to think I should, and bigger arms. So I need to make from here up a larger size in colorwork yokes and then the smaller size in the rest of it. So either I can do that with Strange Brew or I'll adjust the Marie Wallen pattern, but I need to do a gauge swatch and see which one I want to do, because the one I want to do is really pretty, and yeah, I don't know. I'll figure it out, but I'll keep you updated because I really want it. I want it to be my Christmas sweater, so I will see about making that. But the same area that I got, or the same stall that I got, the Jamieson Smith, they also had some fabric available, and I finally got my hands on this beaver fabric. I just got like a fat square, or yeah, fat quarter. And I'm just gonna make myself either a sweater size project bag or a couple of sock sacks, but I'm not sure yet. But it's super cute, and I've seen it before, and I think it's adorable, so I'm gonna make myself a bag. That's just for me. And that's all I got from Knit City. I had a bit of a budget, and it was quite small, and it was very busy, so my cousin and I decided to go wandering around Vancouver a little bit. We went to the art gallery, which was an absolute waste of money. Sorry if anyone likes what's in there right now, but I thought it's $24 to see pretty much nothing. And I figure I've been ruined for art galleries because the first art gallery I ever went to was in London, and that's kind of what I consider an art gallery. Sorry if that doesn't make any sense. But then we also went to Stanley Park, and we walked so long, our feet hurt so badly, and then we finally made our way back to the airport and hung out. We went for dinner, had the best wings I've ever had in my life, but yeah, and then we just hung out and knit, and my cousin slept, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I wish I had been a little bit more social, but I find it very awkward to go up to people, which I totally get for anyone else who doesn't do that. It makes me feel so weird. But it was so surreal to see people that I knew from the online knitting community, and then to see that they were actually a real person. So that was pretty fun. But yeah, that's kind of my life stuff thing. I have been busy. I think I've dyed about 80 skeins of self-striping, which is pretty good going, I think. Which I will preview some of my new colorways right away here. I also have, and don't worry, I didn't forget, I have the winner drawn for the 2,000 subscriber giveaway. So wait just a little bit longer. I'm first going to do a little bit of a preview of what's going into the shop for the Not Rhinebeck Festival. First, I will also show I did an update on Friday, so there's still a lot of yarn from that update in the shop. It's all my regular repeatable colorways, and I also have 3 mini skein sets still available. Sorry if there's any glare when I show these, they're wrapped in plastic. But the first one that I have is called Obnoxious. It is a neon mini skein set. The second one I have is Autumn Forest, which is a lot of brown colors and greens and yellows. And then I also have one that I've called Soft Light, and I really like this one. So it's got sort of caramely yellow, something with a little bit more of a moss green, a pale moss green, a little bit of purples, blues, all mixed together. So that's the last one that's available in the shop. So I have those available. I also have, as I said, one more. I have a bit of my Mr. Awesome, and I also have a few of the Crazy Sock Lady still available in both Stellina and regular sock. But as far as what's new going into the shop on the Not Rhinebeck Festival, and that is happening on the 19th to 21st of October, I have, some of these are unnamed, so I don't have a name for them yet. I have considerations, but not actual names yet. So, I'm going to be having 4 skeins of, this is going to be a factory second. I need to adjust this, colorway, but this is my sugar cookie that I had last year, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be calling this one Homemade Sugar Cookie because I had a little bit of bleeding. So it's a bit pink. So I will have these at a discounted price, but it has all the same speckles as last year. I think I just need to adjust my red because reds are a pain in the butt. So I'll have that in the shop. And then I will have, what was I going to call these? I know this one, nope, I can't remember. So I'm just going to show you these because I don't have names for them. And I've got a bit of a theme going. I've been really enjoying caramels and paler colors, and I will have names for these when I update them. There's more than this, but they are not finished yet. So those are some of the colors that are going in on the Not Rhinebeck Festival, and I'm waiting for another yarn order that should be coming on Friday, so I'll have even more of these. And then as far as self-striping goes, I will have, these are all named because I'm better at naming self-striping than I am at naming other things. this is Apothecary. And this is Cadbury. It had a different name before, but as I was winding up the ball, I was like, kept thinking to myself, what does this remind me of? There's Cadbury. And then I have Muse. And this one I dyed specifically because when I was labeling for my shop update on Friday, I had 4 colors that were together sitting side by side, and I thought it was so pretty, so I tried to make it a self-striping, and I really, really like this color. I also have, and this one is my favorite of the new colors. I absolutely adore this color, and this is called Cherry Mousse. And it is just a bunch of shades of mauves and burgundy and gray, and it is so gorgeous. I have some on Sparkle and Basic Sock, and I need to make myself some in Sparkle because I actually think it's even prettier in Sparkle, and I'm so excited. So I need to get my Mr. Awesome socks done so that I can cast on these. And then the one I'm going to be casting on after, and this will be for Amy of Stranded Dye Works and Stranded Podcast. She is doing her Christmas sock knit along. It started yesterday, I believe, and for that I want to cast on my new Christmas colorway, which is Holly Jolly, can't even remember what I call things. And this is one of the few that I actually planned out, and it turned out exactly the way I wanted it to, and I'm so happy with it. So it turned out just what I wanted, and I just love it. I don't often plan out my colors because I used to paint before I knit, and then I knit before I dyed yarn. So I have a pretty good idea of what colors need to go together to make what other colors, and I try to go a little bit more go with flow sort of thing when it comes to dyeing yarn. I don't like planning things out particularly, and I have really good luck with my colors turning out the way I want them to, or just surprising me and being beautiful. So those will be going to the shop in decent quantities on the 19th or 20th. I haven't decided if I'm starting on Friday or Saturday. Depends how much I can get done. But yeah, those are the new colors, and I am so excited. I have been working towards this for a while. I will also have a bunch of Knit Notions pouches. I'm hoping to get a lot of those done next week when I'm in Edmonton, when I can't do any of my other shop stuff. I will also be having a pile of bags going in, a lot of sock sacks and a few sweater size project bags as well. I'm hoping to get a lot of those done this week. There's a huge pile that I need to go through. And also I'll be having minis as well. I'm going to try to have minis of almost all of my colorways that are going in and my repeatable colorways that are going out that are already in, so that you can just add a couple mini skeins to your order if you so choose. Also, if anyone's wondering, if there is something in the shop that you're worried about selling out now and you want to get it shipped out and at the same time as the Not Rhinebeck Festival, purchase it on my Etsy shop, but just leave me a note saying that you want it shipped out at the same time as your Rhinebeck order, and I will save it in my Etsy, and then I will refund you any shipping overages that there might be if you're worried about that. So that is absolutely fine. But now, before I blather on just nonsensically, I will do the prize winner for my YouTube 2,000 subscriber giveaway. So I drew this right before I hit record. And just to remind you, it is for the Sport Weight 3 skein set. And these were the leftovers from my the yarn that I dyed for my rose cardigan, which I will eventually make. And it is wild lettuce, shrimp cocktail, and all-inclusive, 1 skein each of the Sport Weight. And so, the winner of this prize is Betsy.Bowman. And I know you commented. I actually saw your comment before. I remember it. There were so many comments, though. Thank you, everyone, for commenting on this video. But you'd commented about my, I think my Anushka sweater. If it's too small, I should steek it and add a button band, which I absolutely might do, because I do need more cardigans. And I also don't want to put in that much effort for something and then not have it fit. So That might be something that I will actually do. I will sort that out. But you are the winner of this wonderful prize pack. So if you could either message me on Instagram or Ravelry would be best, because then it won't get lost. I've found that YouTube stuff sometimes gets lost on my account. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just bad at it. I don't know. So if you could contact me on Instagram or Ravelry with your personal information, and I can get that shipped out to you as soon as possible. And congratulations! And again, thank you everyone so much for that. I'll be having more giveaways in the future. I hope on my next podcast, which I hope will be sooner rather than later, I can show you what the prizes will be for the Not Rhinebeck Knit Along, because there's going to be a few from the makers in the group, not just myself. And I will be drawing from the chatter thread and the finished object thread, which I will make before I post this, because I've been meaning to do that for a while. So as far as any blather goes, besides that, I have been talking quite a lot, but I can't think of anything else to say. It's snowing a lot. Winter is here, apparently. Again, resisting the urge to decorate for Christmas. The move was okay. The move was okay. Knowing that I'm going to have to move back the same distance is a bit daunting, but not too bad, considering other things in my life that I'm not quite ready to talk about here that have happened, that have made everything a little bit better. If you're a new viewer, my husband and I recently split up, so I moved away, and it's been a bit of a shit show. As anyone who's ever been through that knows, it's just garbage. So... but yeah, I'm a lot better now. I'm keeping myself very, very busy, as I've said. But I will be posting a lot of my preview stuff on my Instagram. And also, I forgot to mention, one thing that's going to be going into the Not Rhinebeck Festival is going to be a exclusive 12-stripe colorway on, 12 stripes. Self-striping, by the way. Oh. But yeah, that's going to be an exclusive. When it sells out, it sells out. I will not be dyeing it again. I might eventually dye another 12 striper, but I don't know. It's a lot of extra stuff. But just so you know, I will be previewing that here on my next podcast, because I probably think my next podcast is going to be the last one before the festival. So I will let you all know then. But yeah, I am going to go back to work. I've got a lot of warping and balling up self-striping yarn, which takes a lot of time. If anyone's ever done it before, it takes a lot of time. But I've got a lot of that to do, so I will see you all next time. Thank you so much for watching, and have a very, very knitty day. Bye!